Okay, let's resume, no? For this video lecture, we will be discussing two different topics. Yung una, yung regular corporate income tax, yung normal income tax natin, at yung pangalawa, yung tinatawag natin na MCIT or the minimum corporate income tax. So we will be comparing them, no? Meron tayong mga illustrations para guided tayo kung paano natin ito ginagawa. Okay? First, dito muna tayo sa RCIT, yung regular corporate income tax, na na-introduce ko na rin kanina. Okay? But somehow, for this video lecture, bibigyan po natin ito ng illustration. Meron lang akong ipapakita sa inyo na comparison before the effectivity of the CREATE law. Okay? Yung train law natin, ang corporate tax rate natin is 30%. Ito po, hindi ko lang na-highlight, no? Hindi ko lang nabigyan ng separate na color coding. Anyway, this is our tax rate under the train law. It was 30%. But with the effectivity of the CREATE law, meron tayong 25 or 20. Yung mga domestic corporations and even yung resident foreign corporations, they are subject to 25%. Even yung ating non-resident foreign corporation, no? Although, kung titignan po ninyong maigi, ang difference kasi nila, ang NRFC, ano ang basis ng tax nila? Yung gross income. Kaya dito, not applicable yung allowable deductions. Pero pagdating po sa ating mga domestic corporations and even resident foreign corporations, meron tayong allowable deductions na maibabawas doon sa gross income para mag-arrive tayo sa taxable income na magiging basis ng 25%. Dito sa NRFC, yung gross income. Now, ano itong DC MSMEs? O DC is, of course, domestic corporations. Pero meron kasi tayong tinatawag na mga micro, small, and medium enterprises. Yun po yung tinatawag natin na MSMEs. Ito kasi meron itong 20% na corporate income tax rate instead of the 25%. So yun lamang po ang difference nila. Now, ito, yung effectivity kasi ng RCIT under the CREATE law, hindi sila sabay-sabay. For domestic corporations and resident foreign corporations, nag-took effect ito as early as July 1, 2020. Ang CREATE law kasi, hindi ko lang kabisado yung eksaktong effectivity nito. Pero I think it's somewhere April 2021. I'm not sure, please correct me if I am wrong. If you know the exact date yung effectivity ng CREATE law or you can research it, paki-comment na lang, para na rin sa kapakinabangan ng ibang manunood, nag-aaral. Okay, pero in terms of the application ng revised corporate income tax na 25% and 20% as applicable, yung domestic at saka yung mga resident foreign, nag-start po yan July 1, 2020 pa. For non-resident foreign corporation, January 1, 2021. So merong isang 6 na buwan na diferensya na una for DC and RFC. Okay? Beginning July 1, 2020, yung applicable RCIT rate ng MSMEs is 20%. So kasabay, sa bayan ng DC, RFC, si MSMEs na 20%. Ang nahuli lang talaga ay itong NRFC natin. So please take note ha. Nagkakaroon lang tayo ng comparison, nilalagay natin dito yung train law para makita po ninyo yung difference. This is particularly helpful para sa ating mga accounting students. Although hindi ko naman ini-expect, hindi ko lang alam how many years from now when you take the board exam, if you are an accountancy student, pagdating sa RFBT, siguro naman hindi na itatanong yung may kinalaman sa train law kasi matagal na noon na ipatupad, matagal na, it's how many years na with the effectivity of the CREATE law. But nilalagay lang po natin ito for reference, for comparison. Okay? Illustration tayo para makita po ninyo yung RCIT. We have ABC Corporation with the following data for the current taxable year. Ang gross income niya nang galing dito sa Pilipinas ay 975,000. Ang expenses niya dito sa Pilipinas, 750,000. Ang gross income niya galing sa Malaysia, 770,000. Ang expenses niya from Malaysia ay 630. Okay? Ibig sabihin nito, you are domestic corporation ka. Assuming so meron kang branch, hindi ka lang nag-ooperate dito sa Pilipinas, kung hindi, nag-ooperate ka rin sa ibang bansa. So nakapag-expand ka, which is good for you. So ang tinutukoy nito, may gross income ka, ito yung kinita mo sa Malaysia, ito din yung mga expenses mo sa Malaysia, converted into Philippine peso. At meron tayo ditong interest on bank deposit. Okay? So yan po yung ating information. Now we will be having 3 questions if I am not mistaken, just to illustrate the difference in computation between a domestic corporation, a resident foreign corporation, and a non-resident foreign corporation. Okay? So, ayan. Bago ko ipakita yung solution, basahin natin yung question. Kung yung corporation daw ay isang domestic corporation, DC, magkano daw yung income tax na babayaran niya? Okay, so pause the video, try to solve for it para meron tayong participation. And then, let's check. Pag nakuha na ninyo yung sagot, pause the video, replay. Hindi replay. Click the play button. And then, let's see if you got it right. Because the answer for question number 1 is this. And this is our solution. Okay? O gross income natin, 975. Gross income from Malaysia, 770. O ibawas natin. O dito naka-absolute sila lahat, pero expenses, they have to be deducted. Ito yung ating mga allowable deductions. Assuming they are all allowable. 750 minus 630. So, the taxable income will be 365. Now, ito po yung magiging subject sa ating 25% because we are already under the effectivity of the CREATE law. So, 365,000 times 25%. No? Yan ba yung tamang sagot na na-compute ninyo? The answer is 91,250. Kung sakali man na nagkamali kayo, please take note, hindi kasama kasi yung interest on bank deposit. Baka kasi, iba yung sagot ninyo kasi sinama ninyo si interest on bank deposit. Going back sa mga previous discussion natin, yung mga passive income, even though that is for individual taxpayers, mamaya, applicable din pa rin naman kasi ito for corporate taxpayers. Hindi po kasi yan regular income. Passive income yan subject sa final tax. Okay, kaya wala po yan sa equation. Hindi natin siya sinasama sa kwento. Okay? So that is the answer for question number 1. Now, what if the corporation is a resident foreign corporation, RFC? Magkano yung income tax due niya? Same amounts, same figures, different scenario lang. Kanina, domestic, ngayon, resident foreign. Pause the video, compute nyo muna. Tapos pag okay na, play it. Because the answer for question number 2 will be, of course, dito sa first table, that is the computation of the taxable income. And then the income tax due is on the right side. Notice the difference. Sa domestic corporation, kasama yung gross income mo from Malaysia and so with your expenses. Kasi tandaan ninyo, pag domestic corporation, sources within and without. Okay? From all sources. Samantalang, kapag ang pinag-uusapan natin, resident foreign corporation, taxable lamang po yan sa mga sources within. So, hindi natin papakialaman yung income and expenses niya sa Malaysia. Only yung gross income mo from the Philippines na 975, bawasan natin ng expenses na 750, magkano yan? 225,000 ang iyong taxable income. Please take note, be careful sa mga question. Kasi dito ang tinatanong income tax due. Pero baka mamaya ang hinahanap lang pala, magkano yung taxable income? Ito lang dapat yung sagot natin. Hindi tayo careful. Diniretso natin kinumpute yung income tax due. Napasobra tayo. No? So mamamali tayo dyan. No? Okay, but then again, the question here is, magkano yung income tax due? So yung taxable income natin na 225, multiply natin sa tax rate, no? Na 25% under the CREATE law. Yung RCIT natin is 56,250 pesos. Okay? So, yan po ano yung kinaibahan. Ulitin ko lang, hindi natin isasama yung interest on bank deposit. Next, question number 3. What if si corporation ay isang NRFC, non-resident foreign corporation? Magkano naman ang kanyang tax due? Income tax due pa rin, ano? Hindi taxable income. So, you should be careful. Pause muna ulit yung video, compute. Pag okay na, play it. Ito yung ating solution. Yung gross income natin na magiging taxable income natin, ano, ay 1,975,000. Ito. And then, ito ang kaibahan. Interest on bank deposit kasama. Okay? Because the corporation is a non-resident foreign corporation. So, not engaged in business yan dito sa Pilipinas. So, ang pagkukumpita natin, okay, yung magiging taxable income niya is yung gross income. Kasama po itong interest on bank deposit. Magkaparehas lang din kasi na 25% yan. So, 975 plus 25,000, that is 1 million, multiplied by the 25% tax rate under the CREATE law, ang income tax due natin ay 250,000. Okay? So, that is the difference. Okay? Yung differences ng tatlo. Ito, no? Ang taxable income is the gross income. Alright? So, yan po, ano? Please take note of this. Ayan, ha? NRFCs are subject to 25% income tax on their gross income, except income subject to capital gains and tax-exempt income. Ito naman ay hindi po capital gains tax. Okay? So, ayan, ha? Please be guided accordingly. Okay. So, tapos na tayo sa RCIT. I-compare naman natin ito sa MCIT. Recap lang, RCIT is 25% for DC and RFC. 25% din naman for NRFC. 20% sa mga MSMEs. Okay? And then, please take note ng ating tax base. No? Net income, gross income, respectively. How about MCIT? Ba't ba ako natitili? Pumipiyok palagi. Parang nakakarami ako ng piyok every time na nagre-record ako. Gumagawa ako ng video lecture. Anyway, under sa Section 27E as amended by the CREATE law, please bear with me, ha, babasahin ko lang ito kasi in-screenshot lang, in-snip natin yung provision na yon. A minimum corporate income tax of 2% of the gross income as of the end of the taxable year as defined herein is hereby imposed on a corporation taxable under this title beginning on the 4th taxable year immediately following the year in which such corporation commenced its business operation, when the minimum income tax is greater than the tax computed under subsection A of this section for the taxable year. Yung tinatawag natin na RCIT. Okay? Provided that effective July 1, 2020 hanggang June 30, 2023, ang rate daw ay 1%. Now, this is for domestic corporations. Sa section 28, no? Nakalagay naman doon MCIT for resident foreign corporations. Ang sinasabi naman dito, a minimum corporate income tax of 2% of gross income. Parehas with the domestic corporation. Ano? As prescribed under Section 27E, which is this one, shall be imposed under the same conditions on a resident foreign corporation taxable under paragraph 1 of this subsection. Hindi na nga lang natin kinapture yung paragraph 1 itong section 28. Ano? Provided the same that effective July 1, 2020 hanggang June 30, 2023, yung rate na applicable for the MSIT ay 1%. Similar, no? So ibig sabihin, domestic corporation and resident foreign corporation, parehas po sila ng MSIT rate. Okay? Emphasis natin, the MSIT is 2%. Pero from July 1, 2020 hanggang June 30, 2023, ang rate ay 1% because of the CREATE law. Paglagpas mo na, pagdating ng July 1, 2023, balik ka na sa 2%. Okay? Okay, eto, tandaan po ninyo. The MSIT shall be imposed whenever, una, the corporation has zero taxable income, or the corporation has negative income, or whenever the amount of MSIT is greater than RSIT due from such corporation. Hence, MSIT is always computed and compared to RSIT starting on the 4th year of operation. Now, please take note that MSIT is applicable only on the 4th year of operation. Halimbawa, nag-start ako ng business 2021. So, magbibilang ako. Okay, first 3 years, hindi ko pa magagamit si MSIT. RSIT lamang po ako doon. Pero, pagpasok ng ika-4 na taon, tandaan ninyo, hindi 4th year of operations sa ika-4 na taon. Provided nag-start na yung operations ng business. Mamaya may clarification tayo dyan. Okay, but on the 4th year of operations, kailangan na nating mag-compute ng MSIT at i-compare natin ito kay RSIT. Kung mas malaki si MSIT, yun yung gagamitin natin. Kung mas malaki si RSIT, RSIT ang gagamitin natin. Remember that tax is in favor of the government. So kung alin ang mas malaki na buwis, yun yung sisingilin nila. So kung mas malaki si MSIT, MSIT tayo. Kung mas malaki si RSIT, RSIT tayo. Pero, okay, tandaan ninyo, on the 4th year of operations. Now, eto, clarificatory matter. Sa pagdidetermine ng 4th taxable year, okay, i-disregard natin yung year kung kailan na-register yung business. Kasi maaring na-register mo siya 2016 pero hindi pa siya operational. Sabihin na natin after 2 years pa lang siya nag-start maging operational. So i-disregard po natin yung taon kung kailan nagpa-register si corporation sa SEC. 4th year of operations. So yun lamang po, no? Disregard yung corporate registration. Okay. Under RR Revenue Regulation 12 series of 2007, MSIT shall be computed not only on a yearly basis but also in the computation of quarterly income tax due. Although for purposes of this discussion, ang ipapakita ko lang po sa inyo na illustration ay yung annual, hindi na po yung quarterly. Pero MSIT is also computed and compared, no, when we are computing the quarterly income tax due. Okay, ganito. Ang pag-compute ng MSIT. Sa kaliwa, seller of goods, sa kanan, seller of services. Okay, may tangible items ka na binibenta sa kaliwa. Serbisyo ang binibenta mo sa kanan. May difference. Dito gross sales tayo, dito gross receipts. Pero kung meron kang basic accounting at nag-undergo ka ng merchandising business, binabawas natin yung sales discount at saka sales returns and allowances para makuha natin yung net sales. Okay? Kasi hindi po yung gross sales yung basis. Net sales. These are contra sales accounts, no? Yung SDRA. Now, ibawas natin yung cost of sales. Cost of sales, direct cost of services sa mga seller of services. We will arrive at the gross income subject to RCIP. Kung meron pa tayong other income, edi i-add natin sila sa gross income para makuha magkano yung total gross income for MCIT purposes. Sorry MICT, baligtad. This should be MCIT purposes. Okay, now, computan na natin. Kung ito yung total gross income mo, multiply natin ng 2% or currently 1% tayo. Okay, that will be your MCIT. Okay, so that is how we compute. Now, please take note of the cost of sales and the direct cost of services. Meron lang akong for clarification dyan. Okay, a guide kung paano natin ito kinukompute. If you are a trader or merchandiser, or if you are a manufacturer, then on the next slide, if you are a service provider, magkakaiba yung ating computation dyan. Cost of sales mo, for a trader, merchandising business, invoice cost, plus import duties, plus freight, plus insurance, that is your total cost of sales na ilalagay mo dito. Okay? But if you are a manufacturer, magpo-produce ka, may factory ka, no? Raw materials, direct labor, and factory overhead, those are your total manufacturing costs. Considered po yan, ano? Freight cost, insurance premium, other production cost. That is your total cost of sales. But of course, what you can see is not simply as is. No? I also have a cost accounting subject. I am also teaching cost accounting subject. Meron akong separate playlist dyan. So, medyo maraming usapan kasi dito. But for tax purposes, consider this as your guide in the computation of direct cost of services. Pagdating naman sa ating seller of services, yung direct cost of service natin ay ito. Salaries and employee benefits ng mga personnel, consultants, and specialists directly rendering the service. Hinighlight ko yung word, directly. Cost of facilities, directly utilized in providing the service. Okay, halimbawa, mga rental and cost of supplies. What else? Other direct costs and expenses necessarily incurred to provide the services. Ang total niyan is our direct cost of services. Kaya nga nakalagay, direct cost of services. Hindi kasama yung indirect. Okay? So, yan class. Those are the difference. Okay? In the computation of the cost of sales. Now, let's have an illustration. Coming from the same example, except na binago yung amounts. Okay? And then, this is the 4th year of business operations. Assuming na, the same ABC Corporation. Pero pang-4 na taon at magkakaiba yung amounts, no? Except yung gross income as is. At saka yung interest on bank deposit, no? The first question, if the corporation is a domestic corporation, magkano yung income tax due? O dito, even though ang topic natin ay minimum corporate income tax or MCIT, we still have to compute for the RCIT. Kaya, compute muna natin si RCIT. Gross income mo, PH and Malaysia, bawas natin yung expenses ng PH and Malaysia, ang taxable income natin ay 5,000. O class, paki-confirm ha, if this is correct. Baka mamaya, mali pala, no? So, you should use your calculators. Next, compute natin yung RCIT. Ang taxable income natin ay 5,000. Multiply natin with the 25% under the CREATE law. Ang RCIT natin ngayon ay 1,250. So, meron na tayong isang amount. Now, i-compute natin yung MCIT, the minimum corporate income tax. How? Okay? O MCIT. Dito, pansinin ninyo, wala yung expenses, no? Gross income, PH, Malaysia, and then the taxable income is 1,675,000. Hindi ko nalagyan ng line dito, no? But 975 plus 700, that is 1.675. Multiply natin ng 1%. We will get 16,750. Compare natin RSIT versus MSIT. Alin yung malaki? Remember, whichever is higher. Ang kukunin natin na income tax due ay 16,750 at yun po ay yung na-compute natin using MSIT. Okay? So that is our answer for question number 1. Okay. Now, what if the corporation is a non-resident foreign corporation? O kasi pag resident foreign corporation, same lang naman, ano? Except of course, no, pag resident foreign corporation ka, hindi mo isasama yung Malaysia. Okay? Pero same lang naman, ano, 25% versus 1%. Dito, bigyan na lang natin ng emphasis yung NRFC. Magkano yung income tax due? Okay? O 975, the same, no? Kagaya kanina. So ang ating tax rate for the RSIT, no? Or actually, ang tawag natin dito is the final withholding tax for non-resident foreign corporation. That is FWT. Hindi siya talaga yung corporate income tax. Pero sa non-resident foreign corporation kasi, hindi po applicable ang MSIT. Tandaan po ninyo, yung sinite ko, yung inisnip ko, Section 27E at saka 28, for domestic and resident foreign corporation only. It does not apply to NRFC. Therefore, wala tayong comparison for NRFC. Ito lamang po tayo, no? Yung taxable income natin based on the gross multiplied by the 25% rate. Okay, that will be your final withholding tax. Okay? So, that is the difference. Pakisolve na lang for if you are curious, what if that is a resident foreign corporation? Compare nga ninyo. Although chances are, o likely naman, kasi di ba 1,250 lang yung RSIT natin, kasi 5,000 lang naman yung hindi. Tignan nga natin. Tignan po ninyo dito, try to compute for the, ayan. Yung RSIT kasi natin dito, pag binalikan natin, yung taxable income mo, may iba. So, you can try, no? If you want to share, you can comment below. Magkano ang ating RSIT, MSIT using a scenario wherein the company is a resident foreign corporation. Ayan. But for as a guide, eto, iniskipan na natin yung resident foreign corporation. Okay? Now, meron kasi tayong tinatawag na excess MSIT or MSIT carryover. Okay? But for para hindi naman masyadong mahaba at nakafocus kayo doon sa video, sa illustration natin, sige, I will pause this video lecture para i-separate natin ito in the interest of time para shortened, I think, if I'm not mistaken, baka nasa mga 30 minutes na yung aking video lecture dito. So para hindi mahaba, at bigyan natin ito ng emphasis kasi may ilang items pa tayo na kailangang i-consider dito. So ilipat lang natin ito sa isang separate na video lecture. Okay? Sige. So maraming salamat. I hope you learned something from this video lecture on MSIT versus RSIT. Pag-usapan natin sa susunod yung excess MSIT or yung tinatawag din natin na MSIT carryover. Okay? So until then, I'll see you around. Bye-bye.